Hi there, this is Miss Walsh, your friendly saxophone teacher, and you are probably just starting to think about lessons. Maybe you purchased a saxophone already, you're looking at it and thinking, where do I start? And maybe wondering to yourself, am I going to be good at this? Am I going to make it? And I would like to give you a little bit of some tips on how you can succeed as a music lesson student. Just based on my years of experience, what I've noticed, who gets ahead and who doesn't. So I think the very first thing is which students of mine tend to do well with practicing. Usually, it is because they have someone in the house who's already practicing. If they have a sibling or a parent who's a musician, I'm one of those. My dad was a bagpipe player, and my brother started on oboe and then moved up to bassoon. So, what I saw when I was growing up was that it sounded really bad at first. I saw that. And I saw that it took a long time, but they did eventually sound better. And I think that is really key to observe. But what if you don't have anyone in the house who has practiced around you? I think just want to stress that you are going to make slow progress, but you will make progress. Don't look at who's playing on the radio and think you're going to be like them in a year. It takes at least 10 years to sound pretty good. So, if you're making progress, you'll get there. Focus on, am I getting better? And then also make sure that you are dedicating the time you need to practice. If you've never seen somebody practice before, you might not know the time commitment involved. I think 30 minutes a day, every single day is best. That's what I did. If you're doing twice a week of practice, like for 20 minutes, that's how much improvement you're going to make. It just takes a certain number of hours and minutes consistently every week. But that's the standard when you're first starting, 30 minutes a day of practice. So if you're thinking about starting to play that saxophone, I want you to really ask yourself, do I have 30 minutes a day? And am I going to use those 30 minutes, or am I going to play video games instead or talk to my friends instead? Um, you're going to make the progress you make based on the time you put into it. So if you aren't watching somebody else, I just want you to have that in mind. I'm going to wrestle with this instrument for about 30 minutes a day. I think the second thing you have to ask yourself is, what are my goals? Do I have a really clear goal in mind with this saxophone? I always ask my new students that question. And I notice that their next answer is going to give a clue to whether they're going to move really fast or kind of slow. So if you're kind of a hobby player, let's say you're an adult student, and your goal is to play some songs that you like. Uh, I will say it's very easy to learn where your fingers go on the saxophone to make notes come out. It's not easy to make sounds come out on the saxophone. Just like any other wind instrument as well as string instruments, making sound come out on the instrument is not easy. So you're going to have some squeaks and squawks. That part is not easy. Rhythm is not easy either. With playing a rhythm, just knowing how long the note is, if you know the song already, you don't even really need to know what the rhythm is. You just kind of hear it in your head and you do it. So if you know happy birthday, everybody knows happy birthday. If you know that song, all I really have to teach you is where the fingers go for the notes, maybe the names of the notes. But you just think, okay, 1, 2, 3, then 2, then 3. That's bum, ba, bum, bum. I got that. Now you got it already. But if you don't know the song as well, like you have a song you like, but you don't know it as well, now you need to know what the rhythm is. That's a long process. You have to put in place the counting. First, you got to learn how to count. then on top of the counting, what you're playing is something that's different from the counting. So you have to put those two things together, which means you're counting two things at once. You're counting this, and then maybe da 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 for happy birthday. So you've got to be counting both of those things. You've got to know how they relate to each other. That takes time to build. So if you have a goal like you want to play in your band, I think that's the best one to start with. If you're a middle school or high school student, playing in your band and just trying not to let everybody down, I think that's the best way to start. Just trying to support the band and play your part the best way you can. When we play together, we're usually more motivated. We want everyone to be happy with what we're doing. When we're by ourselves, we're not as motivated because why should I be better? I'm just playing for myself. So you'll notice that when you're practicing, you're going to play pretty good. You'll think, I think I've got a handle on it. And then you play for me, all of a sudden, blah, 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 blah. And I have my students saying all the time, it sounded so good in practice. How come it's not sounding good now? It's because you're trying to impress somebody. You're playing for somebody else. So the pressure's on. So having a band is great. If you're an adult, look for community bands. If that's not for you, which it's not for everybody, if you can find a few friends, get 2 to 3 other players together, learn how to arrange the music, and then try to play in the community. There's lots of opportunities in the community. You can literally just go on the street somewhere, in a downtown area. It's called busking, where you put your hat out for coins, or now I guess it would be Venmo, but you just play in the street for people. You can play in retirement homes. They love having live music, and they're very appreciative when people come in. Hospitals like to have people come in. It's therapeutic for them. There's lots of opportunities, but if you just have a goal of, I want to play in the community, I have the type of music I want to play, now you've got something a little more solid to work towards, because before you go out into the community, you want to make sure you sound good and you're presenting something that people will like. So have a very clear goal in mind. If you're coming to me saying, I want to play these songs, but you are just going to play them for yourself, to me, I'm not sure if you're going to put in that 30 minutes a day for that goal, and you might be putting in time to just learn the mechanics of the instrument, but we have to develop muscle around our face. The muscles that are around the mouth are part of our embouchure, and that embouchure just means like everything involved in making sound in the face. It's a little more complicated than that, but that's the basic idea. Our jaw has to move around, our tongue has to move around when we play. We have to be getting all those in a very specific position in order to have the sound actually sound right. That takes years of practice. I always think of archery. You're trying to hit that target. There's a lot of things involved in hitting that target. So we've got to get everything like really precisely in the right place, or lots of weird sounds happen. So if you have a goal of wanting to play with other people, certain types of music, you're going to be more likely to dedicate that time, putting that time in. I would say avoid comparing yourself to the people on the radio or on recordings. I have a lot of students who will play for me, usually like Careless Whisper. Oh, I can't tell you how many times I've heard Careless Whisper. Like, I want to play this. I want to play Careless Whisper. What you don't realize is that person who recorded that was probably 20 years in to playing the saxophone or more. This is probably a grown-up who's been playing for many decades. That person probably went to college to learn how to play. They are probably a jazz professional saxophonist. they're probably currently practicing like 2, 3, or 4 hours a day in order to sound like that. And they have all this knowledge from years of lessons that are helping them sound like that. You cannot compare yourself to those people. And they edit the videos, they edit all the audio. So he records it or she records it, they put it in, and they go in and edit it. They have equalizer so they can make more bass, more treble. They can make the saxophone sound farther away and kind of muffle some of the icky sounds we don't like the hissy, spitty sounds. They can put reverb on it, wah, 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 wah. That also makes the saxophone sound like all of those gross sounds are not there. So all of that stuff is happening when the videos or audio is being edited. You are just hearing the raw footage. Like you're just playing in a room. Might be a room with no reverb at all. This room here has a little bit. There's a little slap from the walls. A concert hall has sometimes a lot, like a church. Woo, 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 like it's a lot of reverb. If you are in a practice room in a college, it's usually very little reverb. It's dry, they call it. We call it dry if there's no reverb, wet if there's reverb. So you cannot compare yourself to someone who is that far along, has had their video or audio edited by a professional in a booth. That's not you. You're starting. But that professional started in the same place. That professional also squeaked and squawked. That professional spent 5 years trying to get in tune. We all go through it. We all sound bad at first. The first couple years we sound bad. You can't compare yourself to like me who's been playing for 30 years. You have to compare yourself to me in my first year of playing, when I was in 4th grade. So you're probably sounding better than I did in 4th grade. I guarantee it. Okay. So I just want you to be realistic, and I want you to be excited about where you're going. And every little step of the way, every bit of progress you make, I want you to be excited about that progress. If you're better today than you were yesterday, you're only going to go one direction. You're only going to the top of the mountain. So keep putting your foot forward, one in front of the other, and you'll get there. Okay? Good luck, everyone. More videos soon.